Tonight on CTV News, concerns about private property rights.
We do not know the full extent across British Columbia of what your private property rights will be.
An historic ruling giving the Haida Nation Aboriginal title to all of Haida Gwaii. Why the Conservatives are sounding the alarm.
I'm sure that there will be a lot of people protesting and boycotting this to make sure that J.K. Rowling isn't benefiting financially.
Harry Potter pushback. Why two councillors are calling for the Stanley Park attraction to be cancelled.
Knocked on the door, and a strange person opened the door. Like, who are you?
A condo owner was surprised to discover his place being rented out on Airbnb. Frustration with how the company responded.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A new court ruling is fueling controversy around Aboriginal title and private land ownership. The government and opposition are once again at odds over the implications, with British Columbians trying to figure out how it impacts them. Our Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum explains.
It was heralded as a breakthrough deal. Last spring, the province recognizing Aboriginal title to Haida Gwaii with ceremony and legislation. The deal affirmed by the BC Supreme Court last Friday. But the opposition Conservatives say the agreement and subsequent court order raised serious concerns about private property rights.
Private property rights are not protected by our Constitution, whereas Indigenous rights are. We are seeing today a tremendous amount of instability and uncertainty because people do not no longer know what your private property rights are in British Columbia.
The landmark deal grants Aboriginal title to the whole of Haida Gwaii, but explicitly spells out fee simple private property remains intact, as does public infrastructure. The NDP and Haida Gwaii call Rustad's concerns fear-mongering and say the agreement actually provides clarity about private property.
I think it is dangerous to stoke that fear in the public. Indigenous people have been more than accommodating.
Making an agreement with Haida is about creating certainty here on Haida Gwaii, and that's for private property owners, that's for business owners, that's for the Haida themselves, that's for everybody.
The case comes on the heels of the controversial Cowichan Tribes decision last month that recognized the coexistence of Aboriginal title and private property and called Aboriginal title senior. The province is appealing, noting the uncertainty raised by the decision. Rustad says the coexistence of the two rights here, despite the language of the agreement, raises concerns down the road because Aboriginal title is a constitutional right and fee simple isn't.
Yes, we have an agreement. But I would suspect that if a future Haida Nation, Haida government decided to back away from that, claiming that their Indigenous rights under the Constitution override private property rights, I suspect they would win that case.
The Haida Nation is honorable. We're honoring our agreements. We're honoring our commitments to the people that we live together with on Haida Gwaii.
Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. Rob, it's unlikely this will be the last we hear on this issue.
Well, that's right, Mijung. I think we'll probably hear about these issues a lot this fall. They return here to the legislature for the fall session on October 6th. And Aboriginal title and reconciliation will undoubtedly be heated and potentially contentious issues. Mijung.
Thank you, Rob. And as you just heard, the BC legislature is set to return next month, and new data shows our premier's approval rating is slipping. The survey released today from Angus Reid says David Eby's approval has dropped for a second consecutive quarter, down 5 points from June and 12 points from March. This is the lowest rating he has received since being elected. Leading the pack with a 61% approval rating is Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew. Quebec Premier François Legault is the least popular premier in the country with just a 22% approval. Protesters are taking aim against LNG expansion, accusing the province of siding with U.S. billionaires over British Columbians.
Stop! LNG! Stop! LNG! Stop! LNG!
Activists installed these so-called greenwashing machines outside David Eby's office today, calling on the BC NDP to come clean about the true impacts of LNG. They say shipping LNG overseas is no better for the climate than burning coal and raises bills for taxpayers. The demonstration comes as the province is set to approve the controversial Sept LNG terminal after the deadline for a decision expired on Saturday.
Sept terminal is 100% American-owned. Its financial backers are mega billionaires who are allied with Donald Trump. So that means that Premier Eby is giving control of BC's energy resources over to these shady actors who don't have our best interests in mind.
Protesters add that taxpayers shouldn't be subsidizing U.S. billionaires and warn LNG isn't the clean energy solution it's made out to be. Supporters of an old-growth forest blockade on Vancouver Island gathered outside the BC Supreme Court this morning as a logging company was inside seeking an injunction to remove protesters.
It's the bottom line for them. It's shareholders, it's short-term gain. It's all of that, and our whole society is imbued with that mentality. And we can't keep going like that. We have to stop.
Protesters set up this massive wooden cougar on August 25th to block logging trucks from an area that's home to one of Vancouver Island's last intact old-growth watersheds. The forestry company is asking for a one-year injunction. If granted, it would force the removal of the blockade and the cougar. Refusing to comply could lead to arrests. A psychiatric patient facing aggravated assault charges took the stand today to explain why he stabbed 3 people at a festival in Chinatown 2 years ago. As Ben Nesbitt reports, it fits a pattern that courts have been hearing for nearly 2 decades. A warning, some of the details may be disturbing.
Blair Donnelly's defense team says while he's admitted to the stabbings, his state of mind will be the central issue. The 66-year-old told the court he believes it was his deep religious faith that led him to carry out the attacks.
I believed I was being prompted by God to hurt somebody that day, he said. Donnelly was on a day pass from the Colony Farm psychiatric facility where he's been held since killing his daughter in 2006. Under direct examination from his lawyer, Donnelly said his plan was originally to go to Waves Coffee Shop in Coquitlam, but shortly after he left the facility on his e-bike, he was prompted by God to go to Chinatown. On the way there, he stopped at Home Depot to buy a chisel, which he says he bought instead of a knife, because he thought God wanted him to hurt someone but not kill them. Donnelly says when he eventually arrived at the festival, he took his time scoping out possible victims before ultimately going through with it, stabbing 2 women and 1 man. He's pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of aggravated assault.
Donnelly's lawyer said he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, atypical version. The doctor who made that diagnosis is expected to testify later in the trial. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
The strike by provincial government workers is growing today with more than 20 picket lines now up across British Columbia. So far, the impact has been mostly limited to government offices, but union leaders warn the public could soon feel the effects. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa has the latest.
Correctional officers are deemed an essential service, meaning most of them are inside the Surrey Pretrial Centre still working. But a small number of them are legally striking outside, and that's enough to slow things down. Sheriffs arriving today to pick up or drop off prisoners for court were stopped and told they need a special pass to cross the picket line.
Intentional acts which interfere with persons having duties to discharge in a court of justice, which is not a physical location such as service, including parties, witnesses, jurors, and officers of the court, constituted contempt of court.
The union says job action now spans 22 locations and involves more than 4,000 workers. Picketers are out in Victoria, Nanaimo, Kamloops, Kelowna, Cranbrook, and here in Surrey. They're demanding higher wages, 4% this year and just over 4% next year. Government's last offer was much lower, 1.5% in year 1, 2% in year 2. Negotiations have been stalled since July. Both sides remain far apart.
We have an affordability crisis for all our members. Look, a wildfire fighter tops out at $28 an hour. Most of the public doesn't know that. 50% of our members are living paycheck to paycheck. 22% of them have to work 2 jobs, and that includes corrections and sheriffs. We have a recruitment and retention problem. That needs to be fixed. So, you know, our resolve is strong, our morale is high, and we're willing to stay out as long as it takes.
Union leaders say for now they focus their picket lines on targeted government offices to minimize the impact on the public, but they warn without a new wage offer, the escalation could start to impact the services that everyday British Columbians rely on. Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Surrey.
Tomorrow, tickets for the Harry Potter attraction in Stanley Park go on sale, but critics are calling for the event to be cancelled. At issue, J.K. Rowling and her controversial comments about trans rights. CTV's Sinjin Alexander now with the real-life backlash overshadowing the fictional world of wizardry.
Billed as the most magical of walks, Stanley Park is set to become enchanted woods, filled with duels, spells, and fantastic beasts. Unless, of course, the fight to keep muggles away from Harry Potter, a Forbidden Forest experience, is victorious.
Listen, I feel it's really regrettable that we are allowing one of the world's most high-profile transphobes to actually make money in the city of Vancouver.
This way, please, this way. She's referring to author J.K. Rowling, whose many comments, especially on social media, about transgender people are seen as controversial and hurtful. Rowling maintains her views are not transphobic, but does not believe people have a legal right to identify their own gender.
For me, the transphobic actions of J.K. Rowling have really spoiled my enjoyment of that series.
Welcome to Harry Potter, a Forbidden Forest experience.
The outdoor event scheduled to begin in November was organized and approved by the Vancouver Park Board. Some 2 million visitors in 11 cities around the world have already been.
So you can have a one battle with your family, and you can even cast a spell in the forest.
Tickets go on sale Wednesday morning, and a wait list is already active. The event would only be canceled if Park Board commissioners reconsider, and so far, most, but not all, are on board.
I'm sure that there would be a lot of people protesting and boycotting this to make sure that J.K. Rowling isn't benefiting financially from being in our city.
Perhaps the financial benefits are too great to resist. The Park Board believes Rowling's Harry Potter event will rake in, at a minimum, several $100,000. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
BC's Civil Resolution Tribunal has handed social media giant X a $100,000 penalty. The platform failed to remove an altered intimate image depicting a transgender BC woman. CTV's Ben Milger has more on the landmark ruling under the province's Intimate Images Protection Act.
For the first time, BC's Civil Resolution Tribunal has issued a monetary fine to a social media company under a law designed to help people scrub pictures and videos posted online without their consent. The altered image shared online depicts the complainant, who is a transgender woman with her head on a masculine body. Under a publication ban, the woman cannot be named.
So the image was an AI-generated deepfake image of myself that was implicitly designed in order to sexually exploit me and harass me as a transgender woman.
Rather than deleting the image when ordered to do so, X geographically restricted it so it could not be viewed in Canada. The adjudicator found X did not satisfy the terms of the order and wrote, "Part of the ongoing harm of intimate images being on the internet is the simple knowledge that people might see it. With that in mind, geofencing is really not a solution at all." The adjudicator handed X the maximum penalty allowed, a $100,000 fine. If paid, that penalty goes to the province, not the complainant. Following a previous hearing, the tribunal ordered the person who posted the image, who also cannot be named, to pay the victim $7,500.
I have not been paid at all from the person that has published that image. In fact, they continue to send me emails and social media posts saying that I should be in a body bag and I should be murdered.
She says she lives in fear. The image might be shared online again in the future. X has not responded to a request for comment. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
A bizarre joyride in Tsawwassen Sunday night after a man stole a boom lift from a construction site and drove it through the streets, damaging property and striking power lines. The suspect had asked residents for directions to the nearest liquor store before abandoning the machine and running into a cornfield. He was arrested and now faces theft and mischief charges. Airbnb battle. A condo owner was surprised to find a stranger in his suite. Turns out his place was posted as a short-term rental. Also ahead.
Please help us find Karen. We miss her so much.
A family's desperate plea after an Indigenous woman disappeared last year. Her car found torched. When CTV News continues. Stay with us. Well, it may not look like it, but the westbound Kensington off-ramp on Highway 1 in Burnaby is finally set to reopen, sort of. It will reopen at 11 o'clock tonight, which technically meets the revised September 9th deadline and remain open to daytime traffic. But nightly closures will resume tomorrow beginning at 8 p.m., so crews can continue their work. The family of a Fort Nelson woman who disappeared more than a year ago has released a video pleading for anyone who may have information to come forward.
Karen was a mother, a daughter, a sister, a grandma, an aunt, and a wife, and a good friend to so many. And I know someone knows what happened to her and where she is. Please do the right thing and talk.
58-year-old Karen Tessier was last seen on July 9th, 2024 in Fort Nelson First Nation. Her black Dodge Caravan was found in a rural neighborhood nearby area 5 days later, burned in a gravel pit. Anyone with information is asked to contact RCMP. Imagine renting out your condo only to discover your tenant isn't there anymore and it's become a popular Airbnb. Not only that, the Vancouver landlord says the company initially refused to do anything about it. Our Shannon Patterson has this exclusive story.
Hossein Tavakoli is preparing to list his furnished downtown Vancouver condo for rent.
I'm always looking for long-term tenants. It's less hassle for me. It's compliance with city rules.
His last tenant seemed legit when he signed a one-year lease back in April.
I did my due diligence. He had pay stubs, good financial records. All seemed to be fine.
But Tavakoli became concerned last month when his emails to the tenant bounced back and the man's cell number was disconnected. So on August 19th, he decided to pay him a visit at the condo.
Knocked on the door, and a strange person opened the door. Like, who are you? Oh, we have rented here. From whom? They were hesitant. We were told not to tell. I said, no, I'm the owner of this unit. I need to know. And they said, it's Airbnb.
Tavakoli learned his 625-square-foot condo was listed on Airbnb by someone named Kevin to accommodate up to 10 guests at a time.
I didn't find the listing myself. I got it from one of the guests.
While not all the photos were from his unit, guests who booked this listing were directed to stay in Tavakoli's condo, and there were reservations well into December. With his so-called tenant unresponsive, Tavakoli first reached out to Airbnb on August 21st.
They consider the owner as a third party. I explained to them that, no, I'm not the third party. I own the unit which has been illegally rented on your platform.
Tavakoli says he kept getting the same emailed response from Airbnb, telling him to take the matter up with his tenant, who he couldn't reach, or the host, who he didn't know.
I think I sent them more than 8 or 10 emails. All the answers were the same boilerplate text.
Frustrated the fraudulent listing had not been removed, Tavakoli contacted CTV News, and we reached out to Airbnb with a list of questions. In an emailed statement, the company replied, "We make clear in our terms of service that all hosts must confirm they have permission to list a space, including having the correct permissions from landlords and are following local laws and regulations prior to listing a home. While issues are rare, we investigate these reports and in this case have removed the listing and suspended the host."
So how they called it a verified address. At the first place, right? So either they are not following their own policies, there are not enough checks and balances, there is something wrong.
When he rents the condo this time, Tavakoli is telling prospective tenants he'll periodically drop by with the required 24 hours notice, which would likely ruin any scheme to list it on Airbnb. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Tomorrow, CTV Shannon Patterson speaks with another person who fell victim to a similar scheme. She asks the provincial housing minister what they're doing about it. Construction has officially begun on a new rental housing project for seniors in Maple Ridge.
Soon, 98 affordable and secure homes will be available for independent seniors to low with moderate incomes in the new space behind us.
The project is being built on Royal Crescent near 225th Street and is expected to be complete in the fall of 2027. 20% of the homes will be priced at shelter rates, with the rest set aside at affordable rents. BC Housing is working with New Vista Society to bring the project to life with the help of more than $16 million of provincial funding. A housing project slated for New Westminster will provide 89 homes to youth transitioning out of foster care.
Over the life cycle of this building, it's anticipated that an estimated 2,500 young people will call Marine Way home.
The building will be on Marine Way near 6th Avenue and is expected to be ready by July 2027. Mothers facing challenges like fleeing violence will also be welcome. Rents will range from $445 to $2,250 per month, depending on the size of the unit. Residents will have access to a food bank, education and cooking programs through the housing provider Aunt Leah's Foundation. And Caroline Frolick is here in for Anne, and it definitely did feel a bit cooler today, didn't it?
Cooler and less muggy, less smoky, but that could change. Let's take a look at the current weather alerts. Yes, we've got a lot to talk about, friends. A severe thunderstorm watch is in the yellow, in effect for much of the southern interior, and a severe thunderstorm warning is in place in the areas in orange, namely Nicola and North Okanagan up to Vernon. Once again, a warning in effect for North Okanagan and Nicola regions. Easy for me to say. Special air quality statement, of course, still in place. The areas in gray, significant air quality issues in the central interior and the Caribou region. And with that, let's take a look at the smoke forecast. You can see it right up there. Very smoky skies tomorrow, and the wind could bring some down to the Vancouver area. Now, we are not anticipating any alerts or warnings for the Vancouver area at this time. It just could be a little muggy tomorrow. Again, the main smoke forecast is taking place in the central interior. As for tomorrow in Metro Vancouver, got a clear night ahead, and it's going to start off with a little bit of clouds and then clearing as the day goes on. And I see a mix of sun and cloud, high of 21 degrees, but again, muggy and humid. It's going to feel closer to 25 to 27 degrees.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
So, Mi Jung, we've got a nice day today, and we're looking for more of the same tomorrow. Again, a special air quality statement is not expected to be in place for Metro Vancouver tomorrow, but we're, of course, watching that for you. The significant smoke is taking place in the central interior.
Okay, so fingers crossed for clear skies here then.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Caroline. A sneak peek at Apple's new iPhone 17 also coming up.
Without it, it's kind of like you don't exist, because that's where people check first.
Social media accounts suddenly disabled. Businesses blame AI for Meta's sweeping crackdown. Their frustration as they try to deal with the tech giant. That's ahead. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is facing backlash after several users say their accounts were randomly disabled. CTV's Terry Fikowski explains how the issue is impacting the livelihoods of some Canadians and why AI is being blamed.
Talon Doak is a DJ in Calgary and until recently shared his performances on Instagram.
I would say it's like the 2025 version of like a resume or a LinkedIn. So without it, it's kind of like you don't exist. because that's where people check first.
He racked up quite a following with more than 10,000 users and 1 million views a month. But that all disappeared when his account was disabled in April after it was flagged for violating the platform's community standards on child exploitation and nudity.
The only thing that I just posted before I went to sleep that morning was something about like DJing. It had nothing to do with like anything close to what they said. On my phone, it won't even let me log in.
Despite multiple efforts to appeal, he remains locked out 4 months later.
Summer is always like my busiest season, so like not having it, I missed DJing the Calgary Stampede. I missed like the festivals I did.
The issue is being linked to Meta's artificial intelligence monitoring system, which experts say is prone to mistakes.
If they are using AI for the sort of automated moderation and the AI is making mistakes, then Meta has the responsibility to ensure that users have a way to report these issues and have these issues addressed in a fair and equitable way.
More than 40,000 users agree, with a petition circulating calling on the social media giant to act. That includes Jesse Vitterall, a paramedic from Cochrane, who is fighting to have his personal account reinstated.
What was the reason? And just to be able to like talk to someone human.
He also believes Meta should be accountable for flagging people for things like child abuse without any recourse.
It's not just about losing social media, it's about being labeled with something so harsh and devastating. I think it needs to be sorted out.
CTV did reach out to Meta for comment, but the company did not respond. Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
Big Apple announcement today. During their product launch event, Apple showed off a new, slimmer iPhone Air model, as well as an iPhone 17 and the latest upgrades to their flagship smartphone.
iPhone Air is unlike anything you've experienced before.
The iPhone Air model is the star of the annual product launch event, and Apple says the model will be the most durable iPhone yet. Apple added that the base model iPhone 17 will have a brighter, more scratch-resistant screen. It also said the device will feature a new processor chip, which will have improved capabilities for on-device artificial intelligence features. The company also introduced a new version of its AirPods Pro wireless headphones and a blood pressure monitor in its latest Apple Watch. Members of the Vancouver Street Soccer League have been told by the city there's nowhere for them to play, why they're desperate for a solution. Also ahead.
In previous World Cups, this first phase will be open to everybody, literally everyone. Apply for tickets.
The first chance to buy World Cup soccer tickets begins tomorrow with worldwide competition. Is there a way to improve your odds? That's ahead.
25 plus yards out. Former Marseille man on loan at Rangers.
Former Vancouver Whitecap Derek Cornelius scored this magnificent free kick to give Canada a 1-0 victory today against Wales in an international friendly. The victory comes after defeating Romania 3-0 last Friday, making it a perfect window less than a year away from the World Cup on home soil. It's the first time ever Canada's men's side have won consecutive games in Europe. Excitement is building for the upcoming World Cup, with the first phase of ticket sales set to open tomorrow. So how do you secure a ticket? Well, it's not as easy as clicking add to your online shopping cart.
In previous World Cups, this first phase will be open to everybody, literally everyone. Apply for tickets and then see if you're going to be accepted to the application. This time, they are restricting it to Visa card holders only, credit card, debit card, or reloadable prepaid card. So that's really kind of a first here.
Visa card holders can enter a draw from tomorrow until September 19th. If you win that, you'll get a dedicated date and time slot to buy your tickets in October. But you're not guaranteed a specific match. It's all subject to availability. Navarro says if you miss out, there will be other opportunities to snag a ticket. While World Cup mania is about to sweep the region, some of the region's poorest are having a tough time playing the beautiful game. A Vancouver soccer club is struggling to get a few hours of field time, while millions are being poured into next year's event. Our Isabella Zaffarisi explains.
Every Sunday at 10 o'clock, Grassroots soccer is played here at Strathcona Field.
I work 6 days a week, then Sunday I have it, so I come here.
The players are part of the Vancouver Street Soccer League. Many come from challenging backgrounds. Sattar Hassan Yar is originally from Afghanistan. He was forced to leave when the Taliban took over.
We fled to Turkey, and then from Turkey I came to America, and then I came here as a refugee.
Others are formerly homeless.
It was the only time of the week when I was not focused on the past, depressed about whatever happened.
For a decade, the league practiced at Strathcona. Last year, they were told by the park board they were not allowed to use the field. Now they've been told again they can't use it.
It's nowhere to go, we need this field.
Their struggles are a stark contrast to the hundreds of millions being poured into soccer for the world's best players. The World Cup is coming to Vancouver next year, promising a legacy for the sport in the region.
When you have these kind of moments, it lights what I call a pilot light in a young fan and a young athlete. So, which for us is what it's all about.
And although practice fields are being prepared for the world's best players, the beautiful game remains out of reach for these Vancouver residents.
I'm organizing the players to play here because they need it.
The Vancouver Park Board says it's a matter of field conditions since the Strathcona Oval has poor drainage during the rainy fall and winter months. They claim they are looking for options, despite the issue dragging on for more than a year. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
The merger of two mining giants with the new Anglo Tech Group will mean for Vancouver. Also ahead.
Pretty much the customer service agent was just telling me too bad, so sad.
One of Canada's big banks issued credit cards and then abruptly canceled them. Anger from the customers and how the bank is responding. Next. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar is sitting around 72 cents U.S. Oil is slightly up, sitting around $62 a barrel. Gold saw an almost $5 bump on the stock market. The TSX gained 35 points and the Dow Jones gained 196 points on the day. A couple of mining and natural resource giants have announced plans to join forces.
Together, Anglo Tech will be the fifth top global copper producer, anchored by 6 world-class copper assets in well-established mining regions.
Vancouver-based Tech Resources and Anglo-Americans say they will form the Anglo Tech Group. They add the merger will create what they call a global critical minerals champion and one of the largest copper miners. The companies are committing to having Anglo Tech's global headquarters in Vancouver. Breaking up is hard to do, especially in person, and it seems younger Canadians prefer remote methods to deliver the difficult news. The new poll from Research Co. found 29% of Canadians between 18 and 34 prefer ending a relationship by text, phone, email, or social media. That's compared to 24% between 35 to 54 and 14% of those 55 and up. Caroline, at least do it through Zoom or FaceTime, don't you think?
I mean, come on, FaceTime.
Yeah, look them in the eyes, right?
Look them in the eye. Whereas, you know, back in my day when I was 18 to 34, many, many moons ago, you just had your best friend break the news to the fella. I mean, you know, what better way? All right, let's take a look at the forecast. No seriousness. Now, the weather alert's still in effect. Now, the severe thunderstorm warning that I told you about earlier has been lifted for North Okanagan and Nicola. It is now a severe thunderstorm watch, so that is good news. We still have a special air quality statement very much in place, and that will last through tomorrow for the central interior and parts of the eastern part of the province. As for tomorrow and as for tonight, actually, here is is this system moving up from the south that is bringing in these unsettled conditions to the southern interior. As for the north, some significant cloud cover will be coming in, but not enough precipitation to impact those wildfires just yet. Let's take a look at the lower mainland and your commute to work tomorrow morning. We'll have a little bit of cloud cover, but as quickly as that comes, it goes. And you've got a nice sunny day ahead tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud, but more sun than cloud as the day goes on. As for the South Coast forecast tomorrow, Port Hardy, we'll see overcast skies and 17 degrees. Campbell River, Comox, nothing but sunshine and a highs of 23. Varying degrees of sun and cloud for the South Island. Port Alberta, mainly sunny, 26 degrees. Victoria, mix of sun and cloud, high of 20. Going to see some sunshine on the Sunshine Coast tomorrow. Powell River and Sechelt, highs of 22 degrees. Whistler, another hot one, 25 degrees. Pemberton will be 28. As for the lower mainland, between 20 and 23 degrees. But don't you look at that, because the humidex is what is going to make the impact. It's going to feel closer to 25 to 27 degrees, and more of the same for the rest of the week. And that is until Sunday, where we get some well-needed showers.
Yeah, finally. We haven't had much rain at all, like this whole summer.
No, and finally we get some. So that is your forecast. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations.
All right. Thanks a lot, Caroline. Occasionally, you may get offers from your bank stating you've been approved for a new credit card, loan, or line of credit. Some customers with one of Canada's major banks just got credit card offers, but weeks after being approved, the cards were canceled without notice. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
I was really happy when I saw it. They pre-approved me at $5,000 at first, which was really good.
Taylor Potter of Barrie says he was pleasantly surprised to get approved for a credit card for $5,000. It arrived in the mail from Scotiabank, but weeks later, his mother Victoria says the card quit working.
He goes down to the bank, and on his way down there, he went to go get gas. And his credit card was declined.
When Potter called the bank, he was told he never should have been issued the card in the first place.
They tried to tell me it was a glitch in their system and that they don't know what's going on.
I received on my online banking an offer from Scotiabank for a pre-approval of a line of credit.
Amanda Woodward of Newmarket had a line of credit approved for $7,500. She was buying clothes for her children to go back to school when her card was declined.
They told me that the card was given to me in error and that it should have never been offered or approved or activated.
When CTV News reached out to Scotiabank, a spokesperson said, "We can confirm some Scotiabank clients recently received an offer for a pre-approved Scotialine personal line of credit or credit card they were not eligible for. We understand the frustration this may have caused and sincerely apologize to those who received this offer in error." Potter was told the money charged to his card will now be treated like a higher interest cash advance.
They're also changing it from an interest rate to a cash advance, which I said, so how does that work out?
Woodward feels it's unfair to issue customers credit cards and then snatch them away.
Pretty much the customer service agent was just telling me too bad, so sad. Like it was given to hundreds of people in error and there's nothing we're going to do about it.
Scotiabank says the closure of the account should not impact the credit rating of affected bank customers. It says it's reaching out to clients to provide clarification as to what happened. Pat Foran, CTV News.
The Munich Auto Show opens with a glimpse of the future, plus river rescue. Adam finds out what happened after an island teenager heard a baby beaver crying for help. Coming up on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's a preview of CTV Morning Live.
Well, Parliament's going to look a lot different when it resumes next week. Wednesday on CTV Morning Live, from the return of Pierre Poilievre to the lack of leadership for the NDP, we'll break down what to watch for. And you've heard of RRSPs, but what about GRSPs? How to know what investment strategy might be best for you. We'll see you in the morning.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
It's not every day you see hundreds of people lined up to buy a book, but that's what happened in Prague today. Crowds filled Old Town Square for the launch of Dan Brown's new novel, The Secret of Secrets. Some fans waited all night in line. The first 100 people in the queue walked away with a signed copy. Brown's best known as the author of the Da Vinci Code. He set his latest book in Prague, creating some excitement in Czechia. In Germany, auto enthusiasts got a chance to see some concept vehicles that could be a glimpse into the future of motor vehicles. The 2025 International Motor Show, Germany, began today in Munich, sharing a look into vehicles we may see on roads in the future. BMW unveiled their new motorbike with Vision CE, with unique self-balancing technology that prevents the bike from falling over while stationary. And Chinese company Xpeng showed off its X2 flying car. The company is preparing to conduct major flight tests on it next month. A winner has been announced for the PNE Prize Home.
Your name was drawn as the winner of the 2025 PNE Prize Home.
Oh my God!
Tracy, you
really?
are our winner.
Oh my God!
Tracy Jackson from Delta is walking away with a home in Langley valued at $2.5 million. The house is nearly 3,300 square feet, over 3 levels, including 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, a library, whiskey tasting room, and a 2-bedroom basement suite. Very nice. I forgot to buy a ticket this year.
That
could have been me.
Oh, yes, that could have been you. Beautiful home.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, dozens of dogs hit the waves at Del Mar, California for a good cause.
13 years of doing this here. Never thought just me going out having fun with my dog would bring so much joy and fun to everyone else. Helps raise money.
These dogs made a splash at the annual Surf Dog Surfathon. More than 50 dogs took part, with proceeds going to a local animal center. The winner was a dog named Faith.
Oh my goodness, that's too cute.
Yeah, they are really good. I've never tried surfing, but their balance is amazing.
It's the little goggles on the dogs for me. That got me. That
Very
tickled
adorable.
me.
So cute.
Okay, we're going to get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a moment, but first, Yasmin Gandam's here with a look ahead to your late news.
Well, the University of Victoria is being recognized for its role in helping Indigenous youth. We'll have more on that. Plus, we speak to the friend of Jessica Cunningham, a missing woman who was found dead at her home in Maple Ridge. Her partner has since been charged. We'll have that story tonight.
All right, thanks, Yasmin. Finally, a true Canadian tale. Adam introduces us to a family who was out for a float on the Cowichan River when they stumbled on a rescue mission involving the country's most iconic animal. On tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
Look at that. Connor Belanger and his mom Liz don't need to look at pictures from their recent tubing trip to remember the sound they'll never forget.
Kind of high-pitched squeaking sound that I've never heard before.
Liz was moving down the river too fast to see where it was coming from, but Connor was far enough behind to spot something struggling in the rapids and reached out to help.
Slowly, kind of clawed its way up into my palm, with its front heft, and then I scooped it up.
But it wasn't until it was safely in his arms that Connor saw its tiny tail and realized he'd saved a baby beaver.
It felt awesome, and I felt super protective of it immediately.
And he just held on and let us kind of look. And
After it stopped breathing heavily, the baby started falling asleep in Connor's arms. And for the next hour, until they reached their pickup point downriver, they cuddled close.
just has so much empathy for animals.
When they got to shore, they marked the specific location where they'd found the beaver on a map and started reaching out for someone official to help the baby they'd named Chip.
She would open her little eyes, look around, and then snuggle back in, just take care of me.
The family took turns cradling the baby as they drove an hour and a half out of their way to the North Island Wildlife Rescue Association.
It was really good that they found it when they did.
Joanna Smith says the baby was just a week old and likely swept out of her den before floating too far downriver for her family to find her.
Without Mom, there's no way she would have survived.
But after a few weeks in care, the beaver, now renamed Little Timber, is thriving.
Oh, she's a busy beaver.
Well, the beaver is expected to be released back into the wild in about 18 months. Liz and Connor will likely be looking back fondly on their time with Little Timber forever.
And like such a Canadiana experience. Like we rescued a baby beaver.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
Oh, so adorable.
I never have seen a baby beaver.
It's true, except
like,
a stuffed animal.
Yes, yes. And it is true. That is very Canadian to rescue a baby beaver.
Yeah, I mean, beavers are so brilliant, too, and so hardworking. So it's great that they were able to save this.
Little beaver knew Connor was trustworthy. All right, let's take a look at the scenic snapshot. A beautiful one from Beverly Luker. Nice shot from Comox. If you want your photo featured, email us scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
And we'll hope for clear skies tomorrow.
Hoping for clear skies tomorrow. It's on trend to be clear, but a little cool. 21 to 25 degrees.
All right, thanks, Caroline. Yasmin's back at 11:30. Thanks for sharing part of your evening with us. Good night.